Hey guys, welcome back to ladypoedesigns. This is Erin. I've got 3 Christmas DIYs for you today. They're all scrap wood. One of them is somewhat of a wood round. Yes, there is a story there. That sweet, innocent little dog to the left in the picture that you see behind, that one right there, yeah. She broke it with her tail, but I turned it into something interesting. We'll see if you like it. So let's get right on into them. We'll go ahead and start with that one. This was a wood round for a customer. I already had it stained. It was ready to go. She ran to the doggy door to go outside to bark at a neighbor dog, knocked it over with her tail, and knocked the bottom piece off. So she split it. These are panel wood rounds. They're 18-inch wood rounds that I get from Home Depot. So she split it. So it's been sitting on the side, just waiting for something to get made. So I picked it up, covered it with Salvation Solution, the clear one from DIY. So the stain, because it's oil stain, I didn't want it to come through the DIY clay paint. So I covered all of it, front, sides, everything. So I'm going to make the part that she broke off into a little shelf. And I'm going to put the little black hooks that I just showed you. I got those off of Temu for, I think, $1.50. I'm going to put those at the bottom and just make like a little hanger when you come in your door. So I put painter's tape around the sides of it, kind of to make a border. And I'm going to be using the Roycycled paper, the winter project blocks. And I'm going to do 1 coat of white swan over the entire board. Or no, 2 coats, excuse me. I'm going to do 2 coats, and I'm going to use the little dipper. One thing that I always like to do is I always start with a wet brush. It keeps from soaking up more product into the brush itself. So it keeps the product at the tip of the brush, if that makes sense. So not sopping wet, but just like dip it in the water and then wring it out so it's damp. Just keeps it from soaking up more product. And it makes your clay paint go on smooth. But we're going to put 2 coats of the white swan on the entire board. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. But I did 2 coats of that. So we've got the 2 lower bottom images to the left of the project blocks. It's the winter project blocks of the Roycycled paper. I already told you that. I just have a artist brush with water, and I'm taking out all of the paper, like all of the negative space. I'm basically just outlining the image. I want to take all of that negative paper away, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to basically trace around the entire image. I'm even going to cut out the, I think that's a snow owl. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I even cut around him and move him over to on top of the cabin because he is flying above that little doe, Bambi. What? The animal. See, he's on the left paper, but I'm going to move him over because we're going to put the IOD Christmas tree mold. Now, the type of resin that we're using, it's called Fabricast 50. It is 1-to-1 ratio. It works the exact same way as the Amazing resin. It hardens white. It has the same working time, so you do have to work kind of fast. Only pour what you're going to use. I'm just doing the tree here, so I'm using my little measuring cups and my silicone pouring cup. I'm just going to be pouring out what I'm going to be pouring in the tree. It does harden very fast, just like the amazing casting resin. I have been very impressed with this. The reason I got it was these come in half-gallon jugs, and with 1-to-1 ratio, you get a gallon worth of product for $80. The amazing casting resin is 8-ounce bottles. So, and that's what, $22 a bottle or a package. So you're spending $180 compared to $80 when I buy this. So to me, it's very much worth it. I'm saving $100 every time I get this. And if you make a lot of molds and do a lot of projects and do a lot of crafting, and if you're a seller, this is very much worth the money if you do a lot of casting in resin. So you can see right here, I left this in here just to show you that it does harden just like the amazing resin. It hardens just as quick, and it's very easy to work with. If you take it out a little bit quicker than you should, it works just the same. It's a little bit pliable. You can heat it up with your heat gun and, bend it around vases. It literally works just the same, and it's less than half the price, and you get so much. I put it in the little squeeze bottles that way I can easily pour it into my little measuring cups and fill my molds, and I love it. I have been very much impressed with it. I'll leave a link for it in the description box below if anybody's interested. So I'm going to start taking them out here. You can see I just flex the mold and see it comes out just like the amazing resin. I'm going to pick off the little pieces that come off on the side. There's a little star. Got the little swag, and I did some holly leaves just to show y'all. I mean, it's really cool, and see the little pieces on the sides just break off just like the amazing resin. It peels right off the molds, doesn't stick. It's really cool. All right, we're gonna go in with some Fancy Farm Girl and paint our Christmas tree. And I get all of my DIY products, my Roycycled decoupage papers, my IOD products, just about everything from Sammie at Unicorn Dust Designs. She is amazing. So I will leave her information and her website in the description box below. If you need anything, please go to her. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me at my email. I have that in the description as well. ladypoedesigns@gmail.com. Feel free to email me anytime if you have any questions, concerns, tips, anything. So we're going to coat the entire tree with Fancy Farm Girl, and then I'm going to get layered chocolate. Yep, layered chocolate. And we're going to paint the trunk. And I'm going to go through with the little detail brush that you see there in the middle. I'm going to go through and actually paint all of the little branches that you see throughout the tree. I'm going to be meticulous and go through and actually paint those. So we're going to paint the trunk because I wanted it to look like, I wanted this to be able to be hung up like all winter. I didn't want it to necessarily scream Christmas. So I wanted you to be able to hang it up, you know, at the beginning or like right after Thanksgiving and have it hung up, you know, all the way through January, you know, up until, you know, whenever you want. If you like Christmas all year, hang it up all year. Hell, my mom would leave it up all year. My mom loved Christmas. That's why I love Christmas so much. My mom loved it. She would probably she would come and steal this for me if she were still here. So we're going to take liquid patina and start putting our papers down. So we're going to do our starter line with our liquid patina, give it a spritz, and with our finger, just kind of spread that out. Make sure the edges are down. I like using a fan brush. That's just personal preference to me. You can use any kind of brush you feel comfortable using, but I like using a fan brush. Spritz the paper. I love Roycycled paper. I can lift it up, put it back down. I say this every video, I think. I use my fingers. A lot of people use the brush or what's left on the brush of, you know, liquid patina, whatever they're using to put the paper down with. Big Top, Mod Podge, whatever your preference is. There really is no, you know, wrong, quote unquote, way to do it. It's just whatever you feel comfortable doing. I like using my fingers and a fan brush, whatever you want to do. So we're going to lay all that down. Make sure to get the edges. I'm going to go around the edges. I've just got a paper towel there, just like dabbing the little droplets of water that were on the clay paint so it didn't start making the paint soggy, because DIY paint is clay paint, so it's water soluble, so I didn't want it to start dissolving. So I'm mixing paints here, kind of like what I did with the Faux picture last week. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to blend out this paper. So I've got Apothecary, I've got Gravel Road, and I've got White Swan. And I'm just kind of making my own colors. I made my own, I'm sorry, I smacked my lips there. I apologize. I was probably right in your ears. I made my own little like color fan deck, if you will, of like paint sticks. So I know what colors look like, you know, when they have Big Top on them and when they have wax on them. So I can fan those out and set them on a picture under different lights and kind of see what colors will go with what. So I pulled 3 colors and just started mixing. And I'm about to show you right here. I have an actual, it's going to pop up. Yeah, see, I have like a little, I don't know, like a little card deck in a sense of all of the DIY colors. So if you want, I can link that picture in the community tab if anybody's interested in that. I have them all spread out underneath a light where you can really see them. But here I'm actually painting in more grass to blend that part in, because remember I took that piece of paper out, so that's just board. So now I'm going in and filling in more of the mountains and making them darker and bringing one more up and making another mountain. So I'm making more scenery. So I'm just filling in where there's nothing, if that makes sense. And that's my little silicone brush that I showed y'all, I think it was last week's video. This is the bigger one with the actual bristles on the end. And then you can use the little spatula end to actually spread it. or you can use the bristle side to actually brush it to the end. So we're going to glue down our tree with Titebond wood glue, and I'm going to use my extremely sophisticated weights to weigh it down, and then glue on our shelf that Poppy was so kind to make her fur mama. So in a downward motion, we're going to sand off the rest of the paper after it's dried. And I'm being really careful not to sand off the stain. These little cardinals, my husband made these on his 3D printer. So I'm going to put one on the little shelf. I'm going to paint it red and then paint a little black mask on it. And put it on the little shelf. These are some new products. This is the Snow Paste by Pentart. I'm gonna put it on the tree and make a little snowdrift at the trunk. I'm gonna put it in quite a few places. But I've never used this product before. It was kind of, it was new to me. You can put it on with a spatula. You can put it on with a brush. Either way, it dries fairly quickly. It is water-based, so if you do use a brush, it will wash out of your brush. But one thing I did find about it is if you stack it up like I'm doing here, I'm making kind of like snowdrifts at the bottom of that tree. It does not like lose its density. Like when it dries, sometimes, you know, when things of substance like that will, when they dry, they'll kind of shrink and lose their bulk. This didn't. It stayed where I put it. So I'm going to put some on the roof. I'm going to put some at the bottom of this little bitty tree. Of course, you got to have snow on the mountains. I mean, you got to make it pretty. And here in a second, you can tell that I got really tired of using the spatula. And you remember what I always say, if I don't have it on my hands, I didn't have fun. So, of course, I start digging my finger into that jar, which I probably should not do. So do as I say, not as I do, I guess. That's probably not a very good thing to do. But I put snow at the bottom of that grass to kind of mask where that paper ended. I'm going to glue down my little cardinal. I'm going to put little snowflakes just with a little dot. This is the Pentart Ice Crystals. This is basically just transparent glitter, but it's very, very faint. I put it everywhere where I put the snow, but this is how it turned out. You can't really see the glitter. Like I said, it's very subtle, but I think it turned out really pretty. I really like it. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Okay, these next two are super easy. They're both scrap wood. First, we're going to take beadboard and just dry brush. We're going to make a tray. We've got 3 boards on the bottom, 2 going across the top. I can leave the dimensions in the box below. I did not measure these, guys. I'm sorry. I can, if you want me to, I can leave them in the description. But I purposely picked this piece of wood because of that knot. I wanted it on the tray. I love it. So I'm going to glue those down and get my bad boy brad nailer out and nail her down. These are so easy, y'all. If y'all can make these, oh my gosh, they're so easy. Screw in a couple of handles. Like this tray quite literally took me 20 minutes to make. It was so easy. I got some Jenga blocks or tumbling tower blocks, glued them down, brad nailed them in. Those are my little feet. Okay, so we're going to take the Candy Cane Cottage transfers from, this is the IOD 2023 Christmas transfers. This is the Candy Cane like pre-made sign. We're going to take that transfer and put it on here. I didn't like the way it was laying on there when I first put it on there, so I'm cutting it up. I'm just spreading it out, basically, is what I'm doing. And I'm using the grid lines that are on the transfer itself to line everything back up. So you can see the grid lines on the actual transfer itself. I'm lining those back up as I'm laying them all back down. And you can see it has a little bit of a tack. So I'm going to start burnishing them down with the transfer stick and start lifting. Now, if I see anything lifting up on the carrier sheet as I'm going, I'm just going to lay it back down, rub it some more, and lift it up. These are very, very easy to use, guys. If y'all ever use transfers, if y'all have not had a chance to use them, just give them a shot. They're so easy to use and they're so fun. Take that off, get the carrier sheet, and burnish it. That's basically just rubbing the transfer down, making sure all of the edges are stuck down so none of it's going to come up. So I'm just going to repeat that process with all of them as I work my way up. Now we're going to put Big Top on the entire tray just in case somebody actually wants to use this tray as an actual serving tray. But this is how it turned out. I love this tray. I really do. I don't know if I'm going to actually sell this tray. I kind of like it. But tell me what y'all think in the comments. I like it. Okay, here we go. Number 3. We've got a faux cutting board. I know these have been done. Y'all have probably seen them done. I have never made one, so I wanted to make one. I had some scrap wood 1x4s, so I had an old spindle from a chair that I tore apart. So I'm just kind of making my own little, what do you call it? Like a swirly, I don't know, little swoop-de-whoop-de-whoop down the side of a cutting board to, the slopes down. So we're just gonna stain the wood with Dark and Decrepit by DIY. And I'm just spritzing it with a little water because I don't want it really dark because I'm trying to match that spindle. So I don't want it super dark. So I'm kind of watering it down a little bit. So I took them outside and cut the corners off and made it kind of rounded with my bandsaw. So the top of them have, like the little swoops down. And cut 2 little pieces to hold them together on the back because I wanted it to have a little bit of weight. I didn't want to use, just thin pieces of wood. So this is a pretty substantial piece. It's pretty weighted. We're going to put some wood glue on it. And y'all, I love my brad nailer. I use that thing for everything. We're going to nail her down. Put those in. This thing is solid, y'all. Do that with the second one. And nail that one down as well. Once I stop fiddling with it. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to nail in the spindle. Okay, for the front of the cutting board, we're going to use the stag picture. Oh my gosh, I have been itching to use this transfer. This is from the Holly Glenn transfer book. This is one of my favorites. And this comes off so easy, guys. Watch this. I take one corner and I literally just wave my hand underneath it because I scratched the whole thing to begin with. But once you get it started, watch, it peeled off. Oh my, see, there's a little piece that came off with the carrier sheet. So I just put it back down, rubbed it a little bit, comes right off. Look at that. I love IOD. Absolutely beautiful. How beautiful is that? And it looks like it was painted on the wood. Quit messing with the camera. It's stunning. I love it so much. I've been waiting for the right thing to put this on, and I knew this was it. So I'm taking an X-Acto knife and cutting through the transfer where those boards split, because I don't want anything to get underneath those boards, and I know that I'm going to seal it. So I want to split that transfer so it doesn't tear. So I'm just cutting through it, and then I'm just going to run my nail up through it. So we're going to use the Winter Adornment stamps. This was also in the IOD 2023 release for Christmas. I have not used these yet, so you do have to season your stamps when they're new. That's basically just taking a 220 grit or a very low grit sandpaper and sanding the top of the stamp off from the factory. They put like a protective coating on it when it comes off of the press. So you sand it one way, turn it 90 degrees, sand it the other way so it puts like a hash mark so it'll accept the ink and hold the ink onto the stamp. But you'll see this, the tomato ink and the newgrass, it doesn't show up on this dark of a stain. I need to get new bottles and mix some black into it. I saw Julie from Julie Signs and Designs do that, and she made the prettiest red for Christmas, and I need to do that. So I stamped the green for that stamp, and you could barely see it. So I went back over it with the black. So I just ended up doing that for all of the stamps. I went ahead and stamped them with the red and the green, which I initially was going to stamp them with so you can see both of the colors. So it turned out it actually looked really cool. So I was going to initially, you can see the red right there a little bit, but it wasn't as dark as I wanted it. So I went back over it with the black. So now you can see both colors on it. But would I have rather had a darker black or red, excuse me, would I have rather had a darker red? Yes. But I think it actually makes it look kind of cool. So there I used green and red on that stamp, and then went back over it with the black, used green on that one, went back over it with the black, but it turned out really cool. I give y'all a close-up shot of it. Watch it. Make sure y'all wipe off y'all stamps. Do not let that ink dry on your stamps. It gets nasty. Look how pretty. I love how this turned out. Like I said, I've never made one of these, and I love how it turned out. I love the spindle. I love how that stain looks, how that dark and decrepit looks, and I love the stag. Tell me which one is y'all's favorite. thank you so much for stopping by, guys. I cannot thank y'all enough for all of the sweet comments and the support that I've been receiving. It means the absolute world to me. Y'all have no idea. Remember to do all the things, guys. Like, share, subscribe. And until next time, just remember you're beautiful and you can do hard things. Bye.